Hi guys, Miss Hallett here. We are going to get started on our anchor chart for folktales, fables, myths, and we're going to add moral in there. All three of those different types of stories have a moral to it, and we need to learn how to identify a moral. So we're going to add that into our anchor chart. Okay, so first thing is you're going to need a piece of paper and a pencil. Now you can color your anchor chart because I'm going to add a couple different pictures in with our stories. So for the different types of stories, so you can color those later, but make sure you take good notes for your anchor chart so you can use them throughout the week. All right, so let's get started with our anchor chart. Now I'm going to use a marker just so you can see a little better. You're going to use a pencil. Okay, so we have four different things we want to remember on our anchor chart. So we're going to fold our paper so so it's in fourths. We've been learning about fractions. How many pieces is that? You're right, 4. So we're going to fold it in half. Look, I folded it in half. I had it bathtub style or landscape. Then I folded it in half. Okay, and then you're going to go ahead and fold it again. That gave me halves. Now I'm going to make fourths. Okay, now I used graph paper, but you can use any type of paper you want, right? So now I'm going to open up. I'm going to make sure my lines are really, really good, okay? So then now I'm going to open it up and I'll have 4 columns for 4 different things I need to take notes for. Okay, so we're going to start first of all on this side with folktales. Okay, now, like I said, I'm going to be using a marker, but you are using a pencil. Okay, so we're going to start with folktales. Okay, we're going to label this column up at the top. Folktales. Now, folktales are usually stories that have been told for a long period of time, and they're kind of fanciful. So I'm going to just draw a little picture here of a lady, here, and she's dancing. So I'm kind of doing her feet kind of like that. Okay, and she's got long hair, just like that, and she's dancing with a fellow here. Don't laugh at my stick, people. And he's dancing too, a little bit like that, and they're dancing together. Okay, that's just going to help me. And he's got a hat on like this. This is going to help me remember that this is an old story, kind of an old story. Okay, they're dancing together. I'm going to put little music notes in here so I remember that they're dancing. Okay, so a folk tale is a story that has been told for a long period of, for a long time by a group of people. So for example, if it is a Mexican folk tale, then that type of group of people have told that folk tale for a long time. So we're going to just say a story because they're all stories, but we're going to say a story that has been told for a long time, like generations and generations, long time, by a group of people. Okay, now it usually is told by people, it's an oral tradition. That means they talk. So I'm going to put a little face like this, an oral tradition. and they're like talking about it. Okay, that little guy is, his mouth is open and it's an oral tradition. Okay, and usually the author is unknown, and different people will tell different versions of the same story, and there's lots of different authors. So usually the author is unknown. Okay, and then lastly, it has a moral to the story. And we're gonna learn what a moral is in just a little bit. Okay, so that's folk tales. Now let's go to fables. Okay, so at the top, I'm gonna write fable, let's see, right here. Fables. Now, fables can be, this is funny because fables can be a folk tale, but fables usually have animals in it. So I'm going to draw a unicorn. Actually, I'm just going to draw a horse. Let's draw a horse here. So remember, there's animals in this, and they usually talk. Okay, so this is my horse. Here's my horse. And I just want to remember that they usually talk. I'm not going to put really words in there, but okay, so a fable can be, or may be, it may be a folk tale. Maybe not. It just might be. Okay, usually has talking animals or critters. Talking animals. It's pretty short. They're usually short. And has 2 or 3 characters. There's not a ton of characters in Fables, so we're just going to put 2 or 3 characters. Okay, and then Fables also have a moral. Okay, has a moral to the story. Okay, next one, myth. Okay, if I'm going too fast, just press pause, catch up. You know the drill. Okay, and a myth, that's what I was watching, Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, based on a myth. Now, a myth is kind of fanciful. So I'm gonna put like maybe, I'm gonna put like a butterfly with a face on it. Okay, like a butterfly like this, and it has a face because it's a fanciful story. I know I'm saying that wrong. Fantasy story. Okay, so here's my little butterfly. Okay, and it's a myth. Okay, and it's actually maybe like a person even. Okay, so a myth is a type of folktale. So if it's a type of folktale, you can go back to the folktale and read what a folktale is, but it's different. But a myth is just a little different. So, but it is a type of folktale. Okay, and it explains how things came to be. Okay, so we're just going to write that because I don't know how to shorten that up, but so it explains how things, maybe the world or a certain city came to be. Things explains how things came to be. Okay. It often has gods or god-like beings in it. So often, so like Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief is based on Greek gods. That's mythology there. Includes gods, small g, gods or godlike, small g, beings. And guess what? It usually has a moral. Usually has a moral. Okay? Oops, sorry. Usually has a moral. Okay, so we have folktales, fables, myths. The last one I want you guys to write on is what a moral is. Okay, because all of them have what in common? They all have a moral. Okay, so we're going to put in our last column here, moral. What is a moral? Okay, so we have to think of the characters because the characters provide clues. So I'm just going to draw a person. Okay, this is my character in a story. Maybe it's a little girl or something. Okay, so this is a character. Character provides clues. Okay, so we're going to put right here, this is a moral is the moral of the story is the lesson, that's the important part. It's the lesson the story teaches us. Okay, so the moral of the story is the lesson the story teaches us. Okay, we have to ask some questions like, have the characters changed? What happened to the characters? Were the characters punished? So you have to really look to the characters. Look to the characters and what happens to them. Okay, so the big thing here is it's the lesson the story teaches us. Okay, so here is our anchor chart, and you can go back and watch again if you want to, and you can color your pictures if you'd like to. All right, so you take really good notes so you can use these notes throughout the week when we go on and do our lessons. All right, guys, see you soon.